Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Dill, Lincoln Riley, USC, absolutely roll, really on both sides of the football. Now, I want to start with this USC defense, but my quick observation from this USC offense is that the balance, it's there. Like, I know there were a lot of USC fans that were very frustrated with the a lack of desire for Lincoln Riley to really stick to the run game at times in 2024. This team's going to be able to run the football, and I thought they made it very clear that they are willing to run the football in 2025 as well. The USC defense, this is the conversation I want to get into because I know there are some fans that are frustrated with some of the explosive plays that the defense gave up. I'll say that one blown coverage can't have it, right? I'm sure Coach Lynn is going to try to work on fixing that. Yes, did USC give up some more gash plays than maybe you would want? Sure. Dill, I'm taking 5 sacks and 13 TFLs every single day of the week if that means we give up a couple more explosive plays than we want. With my biggest takeaway from how Coach Lynn was running this defense is we think we have a weapon on the defensive side of the football. No longer are we playing defense just to try to stop touchdowns and kind of play bend but don't break. We're going to get after you. And 5 sacks, 13 TFLs, 3 turnovers. If you give up some bigger plays than normal, but if you're racking up 5 sacks, 13 TFLs, and forcing 3 turnovers, taking that every single day of the week, this USC team was firing downhill. They were shooting some gaps, getting in the backfield. I think they have the personnel to do that. Maybe last year they did it, especially on the defensive line. I think they have that in 2025, and I think Coach Danton Lynn knows they have it. It's the brand of defense that we're going to see from USC. We're going to use this USC defense as a little bit more of a weapon than we've done in the past under Lincoln Riley. That was my general takeaway. Want to get into some players who flashed? We'll flip over to the offensive side of the football where we have a lot to talk about as well. Before we do it, as always, quick shout out to the USC fans. A lot of new pieces, some new coaches. We've talked extensively about how this football team is going to take form during the summer. The amount of support that the USC fans have shown the boys really over the last couple of years been amazing. Many of y'all know this is a team we love talking about. Appreciate you guys. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Would love to hear how the USC fans are feeling after week 1 as well. Dill, without further ado, I'm going to give you the tee box. I want to start on the defensive side of the football. What were your initial takeaways from what we saw from this USC defense here?
I think the big thing is they were turning the defensive line loose a little bit, especially the edge players. Like, I felt like the way Shelby was playing, the way Lucas was playing, probably most notably Cam Fountain. I mean, they were being really, really aggressive. Again, you saw them get to the perimeter a couple times. That is Missouri State. And yes, maybe you don't love seeing that, but you also saw those negative plays. And I think when you have the amount of talent, especially in the defensive end room that I think USC has, I think you want to see Cam Fountain playing the way he was playing yesterday. You want to see Shelby playing that way. Lucas playing really, really aggressive because they really.
Let's talk about those edge defenders because I thought they were really, really good, really disruptive. We kind of knew Cam Fountain was going to be that guy. The buzz that we've gotten from this kid throughout spring practice, into fall camp, and quite frankly, what we saw from him as a true freshman last year, not all that surprised that Cam Fountain Lindell. You talk about a looker. This is a guy that NFL GMs are going to be drooling over in a couple of years. Braylon Shelby to me. And that's not a shot at Anthony Lucas, who I thought actually looked pretty dang good too. We forget Braylon Shelby was a second-year football player last year. If it all wasn't coming together, that's okay. Going into year 3, we're like, hey, can this be the year he takes a step? I think we got our answer. Like, extremely disruptive, coming off the edge, playing the run. Those 3 edge defenders in Cam Fountain, Lucas, and Braylon Shelby, I think have the chance to really change how this USC defense plays. Because last year they just could not affect the passer a lick. I think those 3 guys are going to mean massive things for USC on the defensive line.
And then the other part is Devin Tompkins, because Devin Tompkins is a guy who, again, you see him physically making that step to being a guy who I think can play all 3 downs and be really effective. Mm-hmm. But again, you talk about leaning into what your best players can do. Devin Tompkins at his best when he is trying to get into the backfield, being a
Yeah.
bit of a penetrator. And again, that's where you get into like that balance of, okay, sometimes you probably will get gashed when your guys are playing that aggressively in their gaps, but you're also going to get those negative plays that again kill drives and
That kill
are
drives.
the type of play you get from defenses that like don't give up any points or like they're top 10 in points given up on
Penn
you.
State comes to mind. Kind of how Penn State played last year. Like we are going to be super aggressive and we might give you a 10 or 15-yard play here and there, but eventually we're going to create a game-changing play or a drive-killing play. Kind of the vibe I got.
You also have
Yeah.
more range in the back end. You got more range at the linebacker spot, and then you talk about maybe the biggest upgrade on this whole team. Bishop Fitzgerald was
Dude,
like nails. He was really, really good.
it is night and day. And one thing on Devin Tompkins, real quick, and I'm sorry I'm backtracking. I know you're going to be pissed at me, but I'm going to do it right quick. We're putting Devin Tompkins in more opportunities for him as a football player to be more successful. Like he's not a two-gapper, man. He's a really, really athletic, long interior defensive lineman that needs to be being asked to penetrate. That's what we're asking him to do. Like last year, he's a lot of two gap, and that ain't Devin Tompkins, man. That is not the kind of football player he is. If you're gonna ask someone to two gap, go ask Keyshawn Shillivan and Josh Jarrett to do it, not Devin Tompkins. That was my last takeaway there. I think you nailed it, and we've talked about it all offseason to the USC fans who've been rocking with the boys in the dog days of summer. The biggest upgrade on this football team, maybe outside of interior defensive line, is Achille Arnold for Bishop Fitzgerald. He's a way better football player, and you saw, and it was in multiple different departments. His instincts in the back end to always be around the football, obviously the pick six. What about his ability to come up and fit the runs, man? Like flying downhill, making plays, getting involved in the run game. You can ask him to do anything, and I think he's capable of it. You went from, let's just be frank about it. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but frank about it. Like Achille Arnold was a liability at times last year. You went from a liability next to Kamari Ramsey to a legitimate difference maker in Bishop Fitzgerald. That was a huge takeaway that I had as well from this USC defense.
And he was great. And obviously, you knew Kamari Ramsey was a guy. I will say Christian Pierce was probably the other guy in the
Very
second
good.
that I
Agreed.
thought really kind of came on because I think it's kind of interesting now. You have two guys in Kamari Ramsey and Christian Pierce who can like kind of bounce back and forth from that safety spot into the nickel spot. Both I think can play in man coverage. Both are good tackling in space. Those two I think can be a really fun unit, especially because I do think Bishop Fitzgerald's main role is kind of going to be that deep safety, that high safety, his that kind of role.
And I think he's really good at it and really instinctual. Totally different. Last thing I'll say on defense with these linebackers, just like totally different looking group. Like the length, the athleticism, the range, the ability to close in on ball carriers. It's night and day different from what you had with Mascarenas Arnold and Mason Cobb last year. Offensive side of the football. Balance is probably the first word that comes to my mind. Balance and efficiency, Dylan. Yeah, sorry, I called you down for that. So, 6 to 7 on third down, but also averaging 10 plus yards per play. Like that. That's what you wanted to see. And I get it's Missouri State. Like we expected USC to score a lot. My biggest takeaway was we finally won. Jayden has taken a step. I think he is much more in command of the offense. The ball was coming out quick, on time, accurate. Missed that one route to Mekhi Lemon for a touchdown. It's really the only mistake he made. Didn't put the ball in harm's way. My biggest takeaway is Jayden has taken a step, but the second takeaway is Lincoln Riley has built this offense around Jayden's skill set. Kind of got back to what this offense looked like with Caleb Williams and kind of utilizing Jayden a little bit more like Caleb Williams. It's a really big story, man. Like one of the biggest, most important relationships in the sport is your offensive play caller and your quarterback. I don't think Lincoln Riley totally knew how to use Jayden last year. I think we're still trying to figure out what does Jayden do well and what does he not do well. You saw Lincoln, hey, we're going to lean into what Jayden does really, really well. We're going to shy away from the things he struggles with. And I thought you saw a brand new looking quarterback from Jayden against Missouri State here.
And I think the bigger thing is he just knows who the two guys are. Like there are two wide receivers on this team that need to be fed, and that's Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane.
Yep.
And there's no question about it. Like because last year that might have been as much as like, yes, did you use Jayden's athleticism as much as you could have? Did you like they were trying to use other wide receivers. There was very clear two guys I feel like that we knew were the best players on that team, and now they're starting to be the ones who are featured. Now, I imagine you probably want to figure out who that wide receiver three
Yep,
is. It seems like it's going to be Tanuk Hines. He was kind
I
of the
think
guy
so.
on the field for the most part.
Yeah.
In trying to find out where he fits in that, because again, there was a very clear, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You want to get the ball to those guys, but you probably do want to find who that third guy is and what he's kind of going to do in this offense.
I think Tanuk Hines made the biggest impression on me. It's like that was a little the quick game to him. Like his ability to get going, man, is special. We knew he was fast. You could tell he stood out with how much faster he was than everybody else on the field. The body looks good. Like he
He
was
looks
a little
awesome.
bit of a skinnier wide receiver coming out of high school. Has put on a lot of good weight. That's my take, though. I think you're right with him. Like I think he's only getting better. And I think he brings an elite part to his game, and that's attacking the deeper third with his long speed and can be dynamic after the catch. I think you continue to work him in. You continue to try to get the best out of him. You give him a couple more games to kind of find his stride. I think he's probably going to be your wide receiver 3 in this offense. And that's not to say you don't see some other cats on the football field. I think he gives you the highest ceiling as a football player so far. Running game, probably got to talk about it. Wayman Jordan is
He's awesome.
he's legit, man. And we weren't really sure what to expect. It's one thing to go watch his JUCO huddle cut up and then say, is that going to translate to the Big Ten? He is a very complete running back. The short area quicks, elite. The contact balance we knew was good. Very, very impressed with Wayman Jordan. Very impressed with Eli Sanders as well, man. A little bit of a different style of running back, but when he wants to step on it, he can hit the home run for you. And you saw that yesterday against Missouri State. Wayman Jordan's your running back one. They will find a way to get Eli Sanders the football in space and let him impact this football team as well.
In Wayman Jordan, I think the big thing is you look at the way or how much space they can create in this Lincoln Riley offense and how good he
Yeah.
is at making guys miss quickly, but like not slowing down a whole lot. That's what stands
Yeah.
like he should be able to hit some real
Yeah.
consistent explosive plays, I kind of think.
Yeah.
I know it's Missouri State and they don't necessarily have the athletes to run with what USC
Sure.
has out there, but you just saw he's effortlessly making guys miss in really good acceleration. I think he is a really good fit for what Lincoln Riley's going to do with Jayden Maiava in terms of running some of that RPO stuff and getting him to the boundary.
Can we give him can we give Lincoln Riley a shout out with and we always talk about like quarterback development. Some of the best Lincoln Riley offenses, he can dial it up in the run game. And I thought you saw that. You know what? Especially when you have a quarterback like Jayden. And look, is Jayden Lamar Jackson? No, probably not. But he is a threat when he keeps it on some of those read options. Having a quarterback like that, which he didn't really have with Miller Moss last year, really, really good in terms of scheming up a run game. They ran the football in a lot of different ways. And I really liked how diverse their run game was. And they obviously ran the football really well, too. Offensive line is probably the last conversation. Solid. I think we probably still want to come along a little bit with Justin T at right tackle. Thought Elijah Page looked great at left tackle.
He looked like he took a bit of a step, frankly, and that's me big because I think at the end of the day, you kind of know that right tackle spot's going to have to be protected to an extent.
Maybe.
Keep the
Yeah.
tight end over there a little bit
Yep.
more, being able to chip with
Yeah.
backs. Elijah Page needs to be nails. Like he needs to
Yes.
be a guy that doesn't need help. He can do what he does.
Yep.
And I did think again, he's continuing to just look a little bit more fluid. Like again, he's got like kind of those elite traits, the length, the strength, the
Yes.
power he has, but being able to again continue to build on that athleticism. I thought he had a pretty clean game mechanically. So again, it's gonna be really fun to see him when you start getting tested by those premier Big Ten rushers.
Yep.
But he does look like he's continuing to build on that foundation that's been really good for the
And
past.
he started to come on last year. And like we said, hey, there is a chance USC has a first round left tackle there. If you get that, I kind of like what you said. If you get Elijah Page where it's like, hey, we really trust you at the left, protecting the left corner here, we can start maybe trying to protect Justin T a little bit. That's not to say Justin T doesn't get better because I think he will. He's a really good athlete. I think the play strength just needs to get a little bit better. The homegrown offensive line. You don't see that many anymore in college football. All of these guys were recruited by USC, and all of these guys are pretty dang young. Elijah Page is only a year 3 guy. Alani Noah, I thought took a step. Man, he just continues to move bodies off the line of scrimmage. I Look, do we want to see this? We're not going to know about this offensive line until we see them get into the Big Ten schedule. I think you got some positive takeaways up front there too. I mean, look, you won 73-13. You didn't play a great opponent, but I thought you saw the things you wanted to see there. We'll close it there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Later on this week, we're going to do a deep dive into some of these freshmen that we saw for USC as well. Appreciate you guys. We're going to talk to y'all later.